In this tutorial, we will look at how to use SVG Paths as a basis for creating interesting animation movements in the Inovista Animator. There are quite a large range of options available to us. We can make use of paths already in the image, hidden or visible. We can use external path data, or we can change the path we use at runtime by using variables to define the path. We can also choose to make use of only part of a path or how much time is involved in getting to the start point of a path. An SVG path is basically a shape which may be simple or very complex. Let's take a look at an SVG image with paths in an editor. In this case, I'm using Inkscape, but most editors will be acceptable. Here I have created an oval shape and added a spiral, which is a path created as a standard option. This spiral in fact starts from the outside and draws towards the center, and in the animator our element will follow that path. If we want the element to start at the center, we will have to reverse the path. So let's copy the spiral path and paste it onto the image. From the Path menu, select Reverse and place it above the existing path. We can then give this path an ID that makes them recognizable in the animator. Opening the Inovista Animator, use the file icon to navigate to the SVG file and open it. In this case, we don't want the spirals visible, so either click a spiral or open the element tree on the left to select the spirals. Select the editor icon and set both spirals as hidden. Now we're going to get the oval element in the image to follow one of those spiral paths. So select the oval in the element tree, select Edit, and create a new transition. From the list of transition types, select Path and open the transition. The standard duration, delay, and easing options are available. Let's open up the Path option. Select the Include checkbox. In this case, we are going to use a path from the image, so keep the Select a Path from the current image radio button. Further down, notice the selected path with no selection at the moment. Click on the node icon below this to open a list of all the valid paths in the image. We can select Spiral Path Out by clicking on that name. Run the animation to see what the path motion looks like. Below this are two other options, Setup Duration and Run to %. Setup duration is the amount of time the element takes to get to the start point of the path animation. The default is 0 or instant. Run to % defines what percentage of the animation will be completed. If, for example, the value is 50, then half the animation will be completed. We can of course chain path animations. So here we will add another path transition and make use of the out spiral. Click on New Transition and select Path again. This time, let's set a delay of 1000 or a second of waiting after the first transition completes. For the path section, it's exactly the same as the previous transition, except that we select Spiral Path. Let's run that to see what happens. We can also select different easing effects for each of these transitions. Let's try Sign Out for the first and Sign In for the second. Let's take a look at changing a path at runtime by using variables. So we delete the current path transitions and create a new one. This time under Path, we select User Data variable for path values. This opens another selection asking whether we want to use an internal path or external path data. We will look at external data in a minute, so keep the variable selection. In the field below the first radio set, enter a variable name. Here, let's just use path. Then open the variable values section at the bottom and we can see our path option. This expects the name of a path in the current image, so we can enter spiral path and run the animation. Change the variable to spiral path out and run again. We can make use of this path option in third-party products like Tableau and Power BI, or with our own code using the Animator API. We can also make use of path data that is not actually found in the image. So let's go back to Inkscape and open an image with a single line. The line has been drawn using Bezier curves and represents the path of a bouncing object. The values held in the D property of the path are what defines its shape. Each of the editors have a different technique for assessing these values, but in Inkscape, open the XML editor by selecting Edit from the menu and then XML editor. Find the path you want in the list of elements. Select it and open the D property option. When we are ready to paste the values into the animator, select all the values and copy them. Going back to the animator, open a simple SVG file that contains only a circle. The whole image is only 28 pixels square. External paths are useful when we want to move the whole image against a background. In this case, we're going to use a path to move this ball image around against its background. So let's make the background a little larger. Then select the ball or the top item in the element tree. This will mean we are going to create an animation for the image rather than parts within it. Select Edit and create a new path transition. Open the Path option and select Include. Under the radio options, select Paste Path Data. This will show a text area below. Paste the path data from Inkscape into this component. Then run the animation. We can see that the path is somewhat off-center. When we are dealing with the whole image rather than a section, a Change Start End option is available. Open this. Here we can adjust the location of the path. When we ran the image, it was too high and too far to the left. We can adjust either the start or end position by using the move options shown. So let's try moving the start point 40 pixels to the right and 90 pixels down by entering these values in the X and Y fields. This is also a very useful feature when using variable, as it gives the designer a great deal of potential for changing how the path works at runtime. Running this shows that the path has adjusted effectively, but let's change the eSync effect to cube it out to provide a touch more realism. We also have the option of setting the whole path data as a variable. To do this, in the first path radio set, use a data variable for path values. Enter a variable name below, for example, myPath. Under variable values at the bottom, we now see myPath, and we can again set that value using external tools. In this example, from the help pages, we update the underlying path data using a drop-down. Thank you for watching this video. Please check out our other videos for more detailed tutorials on how to get the best from the animator.